Hi everyone, welcome to a special coronavirus edition of Afternoon Tea with Primary Sources. I have with me my two excellent helpers, Scarlett and Lachlan. Scarlett's in 6th grade and Lachlan is in 4th grade. And today we're going to be talking about historical recipes and food. So, kids, what do you think people ate 100 years ago? Same stuff as us or different?
Different.
Yeah, why?
Because they probably didn't have a whole lot of money.
Or ingredients.
Okay. So what kind of things do you think they did eat?
Bread.
Yeah?
Bread.
Yep. And
Cheese.
yes, definitely cheese. And so during World War I, which was just over 100 years ago, do you think there might have been shortages of food? And
Maybe.
yeah, because they were sending food to the soldiers, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to look at a historical recipe from just about 100 years ago during World War I called Easy Herbert Hoover World War I Cake. Now, do you know who Herbert Hoover was?
The 31st president.
Yep.
Well done. But also, during World War I, he was the head of the Food Administration, which is why this cake would have been named after him. So come on over here, kids, and take a look at this recipe. Okay? So this is for a cake, which obviously we eat now. They ate then. Yep. Do you see anything in this recipe that you don't recognize or that looks different to you?
Not really.
Okay, we've got...
Well, what's lard?
Lard. Okay, that's a really good question. So the recipe calls for lard or butter, which butter would have been a commodity that they might not have had much of. And so lard is something that you could use instead. And so we do actually have some lard in the house, which is in the form of a Crisco baking stick. But lard is a fat.
Oh.
That would have been used in like the place of butter. But we also have things like brown sugar. Okay, so now white sugar was also a commodity that was rare. Yep, so we do have brown sugar, but in our quarantine here, we have actually quite a bit of white sugar, but not very much brown sugar. And so we're going to do a substitution. We're going to do a make do here. So we have sugar, we'll have hot water. We're going to use lard instead of butter. Salt we also have cloves, cinnamon, raisins, right? There they are. And then baking soda and then our flour. So we're going to get started. We're going to make this recipe and then we're going to see how it tastes. Now, Lachlan, why don't you read what we got to do next in the recipe?
Put everything but soda and flour into the medium saucepan. Bring to a boil over medium heat, stirring frequently. Boil 5 minutes after it bubbles, then cool.
All right, so Scarlett, why don't you add that hot water to everything else that we put in there, everything but the baking soda and the flour. So let's put that on the heat, and we will bring it to a boil and then go to the next step.
Wait, don't.
Okay, so we added the water in, and now we're bringing it to a boil. And Scarlett, what do you think?
Doesn't look the most appetizing.
Yeah. What do you think, Lachlan?
Looks really bad.
Okay, well, we're going to see how it tastes when we're all done. Okay, so now we are boiling, and Lachlan is stirring. So we have to stir for 5 minutes while it's boiling. And then Scarlett already took care of greasing the loaf pan. So, Scarlett, you used this stuff, right? Which is pretty normal for us. But what do you think people might have used?
Butter.
Yeah, butter.
Because it was like the only thing that people had.
Or lard. Remember? We used lard in this. So we greased a loaf pan, and then when this is done boiling, we're going to add the last two ingredients, the flour and the baking soda, and then we will put it in the oven. And on to the last step. Scarlett, would you read the last steps here?
Stir in the soda and flour. Put batter into a lightly greased loaf pan. Bake for 45 minutes.
All right, Lachlan, you want to dump in that flour there?
Cool.
Oh, we were supposed to let it cool, weren't we?
Yep.
See, now this is what happens when you don't read the instructions. Well, we already dumped it in, so we're going to keep going here.
You can just let it cool after we mix it.
All right, so we're going to mix it here. And what have we learned, kids?
Follow the instructions.
Yes, that is what we have learned.
And cool.
Okay, so we're gonna mix this up, and we're gonna put it in the loaf pan, and we're gonna let it cool like that. And then we are going to put it into the oven for 45 minutes to see how it bakes. But while I'm stirring here, Scarlett, will you read that last line? What does it say?
Cake keeps fresh a long time and can be sent to men at the front.
What does that mean?
Maybe people in the military?
So this is during World War I, right? And so if the cake keeps a long time, how long do you think it takes to mail a cake to France
A long
in
time.
1918?
A long time.
Yeah, so it has to be something that can keep or not go bad. And so this type of cake then you could send over and it could get to the soldiers and still be okay to eat. So we're gonna let this sit for a little bit and cool, and then we're gonna keep going. All right, so here we have our cake in the loaf pan, so we're gonna pop it in the oven for 45 minutes. We had some modifications. Remember, we didn't have brown sugar, so we used white sugar, and then Mom didn't read the directions, and so we didn't let it cool enough. But we're gonna see how it turns out, so we'll be back in 45 minutes. Our cake is done! All right, so kids, what does it smell like?
Smells good.
Smells good?
It smells like.
It smells like cloves.
Yeah.
There was a lot of cloves in there. Okay, so what do you think it's gonna taste like?
Raisins.
Like raisins, yeah.
Cloves and cinnamon.
Yep, that makes sense. Okay, so we're gonna cut into this and we're gonna give it a try. Oh, it's really dense
And hard.
Yeah, so it's clear to me why you were able to send this overseas to soldiers.
Maybe that's why it's hard because we didn't cool it.
Oh, that's another good thought. Okay, so give it a try.
Ooh, it's still a little warm.
It's a little warm, okay? And tell me what you think. How is it? Yes? No?
I found the cloves.
Yeah, you found the cloves, okay.
I found raisins.
Yep, but how does it taste? Does it taste
Tastes good.
Tastes good? Does it taste kind of heavy? Like a dense bread?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
It's really hot.
Scale of 1 to 10. What are we giving it here?
8.
An 8?
7.
A 7. Okay, that's not bad for our first World War I Hoover cake. So, thank you for joining us. Again, this has been Scarlett and Lachlan building this World War I recipe, and I hope that you can do a lot of cool recipes at home. Thanks. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.